Hello guys of 3D Coding Academy. Welcome back in your teaching session of 3D animation in a Blender. In your previous tutorial, we have mainly focused on human animation, but you might be wondering, what are you about animating a four-legged animals? Can you do that too? Don't worry, I have got you covered. In this tutorial series, I'll teaching how to animate a four-legged animal, and I'll be using a dog as our reference of our learning. But I have to say, this one is going to be a bit longer than usual because we'll cover everything from rigging, wake painting, and creating custom shapes, all the way to animating a complete work cycle. Sound like a lot to learn, right? That's because it is. So make sure you be patient and follow along. And to keep things simple and not overwhelm you, we'll break this tutorial into parts, starting with part 1, rigging. The other parts will follow, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Okay, let's dive in and bring this four-legged friend to life. Okay, let's open a Blender. And this is my character, a model character, already textured but not rigged. So in this tutorial, we'll do rigging together. Okay, this will be a very beginner friend tutorial. Okay, first I will turn on the screencast key so you can follow along with me, and I'll press N again. In a rigging is where you can create an armature to deform that body mesh of a character. So we need to create an armature that can control our body for locomotion. So I will start by adding an armature, Shift A and add an armature, a single bone armature, and I'll rotate along X to 90 degrees so that I can pull this and put inside our body. But you see that you cannot see that bone and we need to see that through. So I'll come here to bone data and try to show in front this bone so you can see through. And in order to manipulate this bone, you need to go to the edit mode tab. So I'll go to edit and I'll realign this bone to follow our body mesh. So maybe I can start from here and I can extrude bone, maybe to that, and I extrude to that part there, and I extrude this one there into this one. This is part of edge. I can select this and try to align nicely there. Okay, let's add a leg there. I'll go to the top view, maybe I can align to that, and I press shift and I extrude this to add a shoulder. And I go to side view, we are not seeing nicely. I can go to back side there and try to align this. And I can go to the side view and try to see through. Maybe I can put this there and I can extrude this to follow the articulation of this body. And extrude again there, and extrude again, and extrude again. Okay, let's go to the front leg there. I go to number 7, but to see if you align nicely, you better see in each sides. So I press Ctrl 1 and try to align in the back side there. You see. On the top, it seems nicely, but you can see here for this side in the top is not arranged good, so we need to arrange good to follow nice articulations. Okay, that's nice. Okay, we can go for a front leg now. I'll go in the top view there and try to add a shoulder of the front leg, and I go to number 1 to see on the top. Okay, in the front, I go to side pane. I can align this, and I can extrude this, and I will extrude to this for the articulation, and I can extrude, and I can align this. And let's go to the front view and try to see it. It's nice. Okay. Okay, let's try to create another bones for the tail, and try to see through in your top view, see if it's aligned well. I'll check to each side. It seems good. So for your rigging, it's very important to rename those bones. Okay, you see that we have created the one side of the mesh. In order to symmetrize, we need to rename those bones with a suffix N letter, L for left or R to the right, and then we symmetrize it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's start the process of naming. Okay, I press F2 and try to name it. This will be a shoulder, back, leg, dot L, up, back, leg, dot L. Let's go for this. F2, mid, back, leg, dot L. Nice. F2, lower, leg, dot L, lower, back leg, dot L. Nice. And this we can call that foot, back, leg, dot L. Okay, that's nice. Let me call this shoulder, front, leg, dot L. Nice. Let's go for this. F2, upper, front, leg, dot L. Good. Let's call this F2, lower, leg, dot L. Okay, and let's call this. Press F2, call the foot, front, leg, dot L. Okay, nice. Okay, we'll name those for symmetrize, and let's start. But for more controls, I might subdivide this to have more controls of the spine. See? Okay, let's rename the spine also. Maybe I can call this F2. Can call this. Maybe I can call this head. Okay. Let's call this a jaw. F2, jaw. Let's call this maybe upper jaw. I don't know. Let's call to up jaw. That's good. Let's call this a neck. F2, neck. Good. Let's go for this. Stop here. Let's call this F2. Let's go to spine. 1. Okay, that's nice. Let's call this and call a spine 2. Okay, fine. Let's go for this. Press F2 and call this. Let's call pelvic. Good. Let's call this tail 1. Tail 1. Let's call this a tail 2. Tail 1. Sorry. A tail 2. And call this a tail 3. Okay. It seems that we have created nicely. So, for our legs there, we'll create these legs with IK. IK, the short means of inverse kinematics. I need to create the chain that can move this whole leg with one control. So we'll see how we're gonna do that. To create the IK, let's add a target control. Okay, I extrude this one and we clear the parents there because it's our control. And this bond is just a control, not a deformable. So we go to uncheck the deformation for this. And let's call this F2 IK front leg .L. Okay, let's go to the back side and create an IK. We do the same. We Alt P, we clear the parents, we uncheck the deformation. Okay, this IK need to have a direction for the controls. So that's controls for direction we call the pole. So let's get the pole over there. I can extrude this and Alt P because this is a control. We uncheck the deformation. I can do the same here. Let's extrude it there. We Alt P, we clear the parents for the control and we uncheck the deformation. Awesome. Okay, we can rename this. Call this, press F2, call the pole front leg .L. Okay, we have to call this a pole back leg .L. Okay, nicely. Let's see here. We forgot to name this. We call IK back leg .L. Nicely. So for creation, we done through there. Okay, let's see. Let's select this bones or bones there and try to check the axis. You see this axis. Let me press this tab here. You can see this show the Z is on that side and this show the Z is on that side. But for our world, we see that this is our Y, which is this is for Z, and this is for our X. So in order to have a nice axis, because every bone has its own axis there, we need to have a uniform axis, so that is good for animator. Know the axis of those bones. So let's clean our working space and try to show you how to align those bones together. Okay. First, let me add a one bone there and try to see it. You see this bone here. This bone this bone, I need to control this bone. You see the Y is an axis this, and the Z axis is this, and the X axis is this. Okay, I need these bones to follow this, the axis of this this global bone. Okay, we created this bone as a global control for these all bones, but this bone show the directions of our axis. So I need all those bones to follow this direction. I can select all these bones and let's select these bones we have created. We press Shift N and go to active to recalculate the roles. You see that always have the same axis with this globe. And I can rename this bone, press F2, global control. This is not a uniform bone, so we are going to uncheck the bone there. And I might move this bone to its bone collection. I can press M and it's a new collection. I call this control, CTRL, just for control. Okay, I can move there. You can see we have a control bone there. Maybe I can switch off for now. Okay. We have done the creation of the bones now. Let's go to create the mechanism for this leg to walk. So all these bones for the spine, same as we have a forward kinematics, but for the leg we need to work in a IK constraints. So in order for the leg to have a mechanism for IK, we need to go to the pose mode and I can select this. I can select the controls and let's select the leg and I press Shift I. That is the shortcut for IK constraint. So I'll select this and you can see that we have this dotted line that sees how our chain reacts. Let me see. You see? It worked nicely. Okay, let's save our constraint there. We go for this tab here, a bone constraint, and see the pole target. We need to see the pole target because you see that leg may move different direction. So in order to control the direction it moves, we need to activate a pole target. So I can select this bone constraint and I can select this as our bone, our pole target. For the bone is called a pole back leg there. But see, that's our constraint break. You see the direction, everything turns badly. Okay, I need this constraint, this chain, to work on this 1, 2, 3 bones. So I can select the chain length to 3. You see? So I need this to change the direction. So I will try to fix by create the pole angle. You see? Maybe I can call this to -90 and try to see it. -90 and try to see it. Is it working? We see in each side, you see the directions nicely. So I will go to another leg. I press Shift I as I did there for the back leg And we see that our chain control to that point there. And this is not what we wanted. I need this constraint chain to work with these two bones. So I'll change this chain to 2 bones there. That's nice. We select the pole target so that it can show our direction of the movement of this IK. And we select that bones there. You see the constraint moves badly, so we need to fix that by changing the pole angle. Okay, let's put a negative right there. It seems that's worked nicely then. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me show you one thing. When I select this, these are the center of our locomotion. So you see, when I move this, first you see we leave the controls behind. This is not what we wanted, you see. And when I pull down there, you see that our feet start to rotate. I don't want these feet to move down the ground or move up the ground. And when I pull up, I don't want to leave the controls behind. So what I can do, I'll go to the edit mode and I'll show the tricks. Here are the tricks. I'll select this bone there, that foot bone, and let's select the controls. I will Control P and we keep offset. And let's do the same here. Control P. And let's see the tricks, how it works there. I'll select this bone here and try to move. Wow, you see, we left even the foot there. Okay, how to fix that? But it seems when I go down, it's not rotated, it's fixed on the ground. But we leave, when I pull up, we leave the controls. Let's do another tricks. Okay, these are good tricks. Make sure that you put in your head there. I'll select this bone here, you see. Let's go to the pose mode back. In order this control, in order this foot to move with this, I will do with the constraint. I will copy the location of this. Whenever this move, when this might move. So I'll go to this constraint and I'll select first this bone and last select this bone. I'll press Ctrl Shift C. That is the shortcut of adding constraint. So I'll copy the location of that. You see that? We are not having this fit. It moved up to the top of this bone. How to fix that? Select our fit there. You see? It is on the top of this leg. Let's go to the tail of that. So we can go this from the head to the tail location. See that's it's moved to that. We see that. I can select this two and do the same trick. I select this one to this one. I press Ctrl Shift C. That is the shortcut of adding constraint. I'll copy location and switch off these two. And let's see how the tricks, if it works. I'll select this pose. It will move. But when I go down, it's remain on the ground. Okay. Haven't we fixed that? We have fixed that. Okay, let's undo this. And when I select this control, I can move. That is what we have wanted to create it. Okay, but let's fix one thing before going far. I move this when I pull this one, and this direction must be holding together. So I select this and I Control P. We pan this, we keep offset to this. So whenever this move, Okay, let's go through our pose so that you can see. Whenever this move, even his direction pole moves. So likewise, let's see what we did there. Okay, we did riggy. Okay, we are done ring for the one side. Okay, so let's go and symmetrize this for other side, for the right side. So in order to symmetrize this, we go to the armature and select symmetrize. You can see that we created the other side of the bones. So when I go to the pose mode, you can see when I select this, you see it moves nicely. Okay, I will undo the movement, and the next part will be our weighting painting. So we need these bones to control the body mesh. How it may be controlled, we need to bind this body mesh to the bones. So whenever I move the bones, the body will fall. Okay, how are we gonna do that? We go to the object mode. We can select the first body because the body follows the bones. That's the trick. So I'll select the body and let's select the bones. We Ctrl P. We parent. We parent with a binding method called the armature deformation. We will do with the automatic weights. You might do with the empty groups, but I want to do with the automatic weights so that you can see how it reacts. Let's go. Okay, nicely. So in order to see what we have created, we need to go to a pose mode and try to see it. Wow, isn't it amazing? Okay, let me uncheck this pose. See, wow. Let's end here for the part 1. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you will be the first to know when part 2 is out. This is the 3D Code Academy. See you in the next one. Ciao.